For a closer look at what this new variant could mean in the global fight against the coronavirus, let's bring in Dr. Peter Hotez. He's co-director of the Texas Children's Hospital Center for Vaccine Development. He's also the dean for the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine, and he is one of the go-tos on vaccine and Twitter virology. So, Peter, thank you for joining us. It's good to have you. How concerned are you about what we're hearing about this new variant?
Well, the reason you call it a variant of concern is it meets several of the three criteria, which are either a worsening disease, so severity of illness, high transmissibility, and the ability to escape vaccines. So it has some resistance to vaccines. So far, it looks like this new variant does not produce more severe illness, so that's good. There is some evidence of high transmissibility, and it has some changes in the receptor binding domain in the spike protein sequence that suggests, we don't know this for sure, it may be partially resistant to the vaccines. The way to break it down is as follows. We've had other vaccine escape mutants arise previously, the beta out of South Africa and the lambda out of South America, and that never really took off. So far, Mother Nature has told us what really is the determinant of what consumes countries in Europe and in the United States is the transmissibility. That's why Alpha took off in 2020, arising out of an unvaccinated population in England, and Delta arising out of an unvaccinated population in India. So my first concern is to figure out whether this variant really is as transmissible or Delta or more transmissible. And that's what we need to know first and foremost. And hopefully we'll get some sense of that in the coming days. In the meantime, the vaccine manufacturers in our group, we also have a recombinant protein COVID vaccine. We're looking at the antibodies made to our vaccines to see if they'll effectively cross-neutralize this new variant, which is still a possibility. So it really comes down to focusing on the transmissibility, because so far what we've seen is that seems to be the driver of big waves during this pandemic.
What is the likelihood that it could completely evade the vaccines that we have? Dr. Gottlieb joined us. He said it not so likely, but I'm curious as to your take. And if not this one, having a variant eventually that will do so, as long as we have a high prevalence of COVID.
Yeah, again, the key is to know whether this is transmissible, because even if it does partially evade the vaccines, if it doesn't go anywhere, then we have to worry about it less. That was true of beta out of South Africa and lambda out of South America. The likelihood that it's going to be completely evade the vaccine immune response is not very high. I think there'll at least be partial protection, and we're going to know that. Our group is already looking at it, and the big companies, Moderna, Pfizer, are already looking at that. We'll know that in the coming days, maybe by the end of next week. So we're so much better prepared now than we were previously. So a lot of information forthcoming. But again, the key is knowing, is this highly transmissible, and could it outcompete the Delta? That's the piece that would worry me more than the other pieces.